Hello and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast, the podcast where we
Woo!
mix our pop culture references when we're upset. Today we are discussing the fifth episode of Yellowjackets' second season,
Mhm.
and joining me once again as a finish of their eulogies for Crystal the Pistol, it's Dumebi and Farida.
What did
Woo!
Maybe we should be more solemn. Pour one out
Oh yeah, true. Okay,
for
moment of
everyone for
silence for
Crystal.
Crystal the
For Crystal.
pistol. The moment
Oh,
of silence.
Krista! Sorry. Why are the teenage girls dying? She
Okay.
was
Farida,
the
give
girl.
her a moment of
This is the moment
silence.
of silence. The direct opposite.
Please.
Um,
She deserves to be like
Yeah.
first Jackie,
How are
who
you
I
guys
always
doing?
talk about every episode, and now Crystal. I'm fine. Morning.
Okay, let's calm down. No one was having strong feelings about Crystal like that. Like,
I
Nah,
was.
but that scene was actually incredible. It
don't
was her
worry,
face.
we'll get to all of that. And you know what? Actually, there's a lot of stuff to get to. So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna assume you guys are fine, and we're not gonna talk about how your week has been. Let's go straight into Yellow Jackets.
Wow.
So always,
What if I had like a
Wow,
fantastic
that's
week? What
that's
if I met
crazy,
Beyonce
Bankole, because
this
I've had a
week?
rough week.
Oh,
I just,
well,
Yeah.
two types of people.
I just want to assume you
Right?
guys are fine. 'Cause I don't want to unpack all of that. No, not really.
Damn.
Bankole, this is going to be a long episode, and that's okay, right? Period. Just tell them this is going to be a long episode.
Yes.
Use it and eat dinner. For God's sake,
Yeah.
people are ungrateful on this podcast. Bankole slaves away, giving you
I
multiple
do slave
shows,
away.
and you are
I do.
complaining
Does
about
slave
the minute.
away.
What is 37 minutes?
It's-
What are you
It
doing?
sounds.
You can even
this-
listen to this podcast when you're taking a shit. Relax.
Wow.
Please,
hope
I don't
not.
want to
Not
hear
in my
complaints
voice.
ever again from any of you.
That's
Guys,
incredible. I thank you very much.
You're
I just
welcome. I
want to
got
say
you.
though,
Thank you. I'm going to set that
Dumebi
as my alarm.
and
Yes,
Bankole,
please.
I listened to our podcast and we're so cute. We have so much chemistry. We make ourselves like giggle and shit.
We
I'm so
are.
like
We do.
so cute. I was listening and I
We
was
do.
blushing. I was like, stop it. Oh.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, I know this is what people come to listen. They don't come to listen to us talk about how great we are. That's a different podcast.
I think that's
Um,
part of the chemistry, and that's part of what sets us apart as a team. So I don't think you should shut it down, Bankole.
That's a
I mean, look, the
team.
last thing I
Very
want to do
much.
is silence women. So
Exactly.
There you
Exactly.
go.
yeah, so I
Twitter
believe in women's
feminist.
agency. I believe in women speaking up.
Thank you. On behalf of women.
All of them count.
Okay.
Is everyone listening? Please rate and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
5 stars only.
Yes, please. If you hate this podcast, please don't even bother reviewing it. Just
Do you understand?
yeah.
But you can still be
Be
coming
honest.
back, or just don't rate us.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you can hate listen.
Oh,
You
I
can
love
hate
Exactly.
listen.
All listeners are welcome.
Yes, all
If you
all
even
listeners are
if you
welcome.
even hate listen, please make sure you to go on Twitter when you are now tweeting about how you hated the show. Do hashtag popcorn for dinner.
Mention us.
Okay.
Mention us.
Yeah, mention
Yeah.
us, tag us.
You can
Do
even say
also
that
on
we're toxic. I
Instagram.
don't care. I'm just trying to blow.
Exactly.
Like
If
anything
you now
that
write
anything
toxic,
works.
do hashtag toxic also. Just all these keywords, just hashtag them. So we come up. Algorithms.
Yeah, okay. So before we go into Yellow Jackets, before I forget, I want to mention that there will be no episode next week. It's a dead air for Yellow Jackets, so they'll be back in 2 weeks' time. So obviously we will, because we're not going to come here and talk about nothing, so we'll be back in 2 weeks' time as well. Let's go straight into the episode because, like we said, it's going to be a long episode. This episode is titled Two Truths and a Lie. It's written by Catherine Kent and Sarah L. Thompson and directed by Ben Semenoff. So what I want to do, partly because this episode, lots of things happen at different points, and also I'm trying to keep things exciting so we don't lose our 5 listeners. I'm going to use a recap to go through the episode. So we're going to basically essentially go chronologically across the episode beat by beat. That obviously means that we'll be switching timelines between 2021 and 1996, but we get to talk about everything we need to talk about in detail. Okay, so we start with adult Van. We get a quick introduction as she runs a video store. She's probably ill by what it looks like, and she's behind on her bills because she runs a video store in 2021. And then Taisa comes in and promptly faints. And I think we'll talk about Van and Taisa a bit later, obviously. I just wanted to give that quick introduction.
I was really happy to see them together, just by the way.
You know how I
We'll talk
feel
about
about
we'll talk
Van and
about them as a
Thaisa.
couple later. So back in 1996, Taisa is sleeping better now, and while talking to Shauna, Van comes in very eager and reminds her that Lottie's morning devotion has begun. And Taisa claims that she's only doing this to appease Van and she's sleeping better. First of all, personally, I've missed the Shauna and Taisa relationship or friendship. Like this is my Taisa and Van. I really, really like this friendship, like from season one. Especially the 1996 version. Obviously, I like the 2021 version, but I think because they stand out to me in 1996. Like there's like they're the two beacons of like logic
Normalcy.
and
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, and obviously, yeah, normalcy. And then you remember that obviously before the crash, Taisa was one who wanted to injure or freeze out. She didn't want to. She injured the girl, but she wanted to freeze out. But Shauna was against that. Anyway, okay, let's start with this. What did you guys think of Taisa being involved in Lottie's thingy? Because Lottie then leads group prayer and continues to talk about Shauna's baby like he's Jesus. And Akila, who was quite skeptical, joins them. And also Misty and Crystal grow closer. So, what do you guys think of this whole praying in the woods, asking what do you hear, what do you feel from Lottie, taking her leadership into a new level?
Do you want to go
Do
first,
you know what?
Dumebi?
I didn't even think that if I was counting soup. Okay, go first.
No, I said you. I was
Go
like, you
first.
want to go first?
Oh,
Me?
okay. So
No,
I
you
was
go, please.
saying, yeah. No, I was. Oh, I
Oh
think
my
there's a bit of a
god, what's
lag.
going on?
I think
Yeah, I think
there's a bit of a lag.
there's a bit of a lag with Farida.
Mm. But I was saying actually that I thought it was a pretty. It didn't seem strange to me.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like something that could literally happen in a yoga class or like in a meditation circle or even like in an AA meeting. Just the like, what do you hear? Breathe, listen next. La, 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 la. It didn't seem like so out of place. I mean, obviously, it'll be an incredibly intense yoga class, but it just didn't seem like, oh, one of the weirdest things that ever happened. So I
Oh,
just
so
thought
you're
it was
saying that you
okay.
didn't like what was actually happening was not weird to you, like what they were saying and what they were doing, not the fact that
Yeah,
they were
I didn't think.
having this.
So the fact that they were having it didn't seem
Mm-hmm.
weird. Most of what they were saying didn't seem weird up until when she was talking about the baby coming.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was when she started talking about the baby coming, I was like, I mean, but then again, when I tried to again wear Farida's "it's not supernatural" hat, I was like, okay, but imagine like you guys are all friends and one of your friends is pregnant and you're just like, oh my god, like maybe everybody has just been going through a rough time at
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
work or just in life generally. Some people have been having relationship problems. It's just like you're a close knit circle of friends. You're like, oh my god, like Farida's about to have a baby. I think it's just a
Why
new
am I
opportunity for
having the baby?
everyone to just have a. I just feel like.
I
Eh?
don't want the baby.
You
Can
see, you might have
Bankole
a
have the
baby.
baby? No, I said, why do I have to have
She
the
said, "Why am
Oh,
baby?
I the one having a baby?"
Mm.
I
so
mean, I
okay,
would love if
okay,
Farida wanted to announce her pregnancy on this podcast. That would
okay.
really
Let's
help us blow.
honestly, I was about to ask, are you pregnant? I
Please,
was
I
about to say,
am
I
not
was about to say
pregnant.
pregnant.
No,
but
long
but yeah.
time
So
for
just
me.
because I
Yeah.
thought about how that could, yeah, just because I thought about how that could fit in like a
Mm-hmm,
normal day situation, it didn't
mm-hmm,
feel too weird for me because then I had thoughts about it. I was like, okay, like I mean, if I'm trying to be objective and trying to remove. I think this is supernatural. I think some of these things have like connections. Um, it's on its own doesn't seem terrible.
mm-hmm.
But then when you now factor in the other things that happen in the episode, it's a bit like, come on, Lottie.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Come on,
I don't think
Lottie.
it's not out of the blue. There's something that I
Yeah.
do think is out of the blue. I'll get to that later in the episode, but
Okay.
it is not out of the blue. I mean, they've
hmm
been laying tracks for this.
But Van's involvement, sorry, not Van, Thaisa's
Thaisa.
involvement, I mean, she said that she was doing it because Van told her to, but I
Mm-hmm.
could see her ease into it during the session, which she later then talks about
Yeah, and we're going to talk
with,
about that in a second
yeah.
as well.
So it was
Farida,
nice to see that depicted.
Farida, what were your own initial reactions to seeing this
I
group?
think whenever I think about like hope this doesn't sound pretentious, but like, because the show is about like going back to like more ancient civilization and moving themselves from
I
modern
see.
times. I see it as like
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
them getting back to like, okay, you know how like the cavemen and the forest trees and the Greeks and blah 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 started out and they're like, we need a religion to make what we're doing make sense. I was just seeing that as okay, they need like this way of community to like understand themselves better. Because like these were not religious babes who cared before, but they have nothing better to do than to do this. And
Mm.
Lottie, she's a bit
Mm.
cuckoo. God forgive me, whatever she has. So yeah, that's what I thought of it. I knew
Yeah,
when Taisa was like,
that's
"Yeah, I'm going for my babe," I was like, "That's a lie, man. Why would you now just start going for your babe?" But I enjoy it. I think that's a compromise for
yeah. I mean, to be fair to
relationships.
Taisa, she also mentions that she's sleeping better now. So like
Yeah.
placebo. No. But Farida, you do make a good point, and I just remember now. Now, obviously, Laura Lee is the first real casualty in season one, and we do know that obviously Lottie was getting closer to Laura Lee before she passed away. So you do wonder, what would have happened if Laura Lee was still alive? Like, would she have
They'll
fought
be
against? Because obviously
praising
she's
Jesus.
religious, but her
Period.
religion is obviously Christianity. Yeah, so would she have
Mm.
fought against this kind of spirituality from Lottie? But so maybe that's part of why the story, or maybe the wilderness had to kill her first. Anyway, back in 2021, Carly tries to sexually hustle the cop into statutory rape, and
Said everyone.
I started realizing that this guy was fucked during his in the gaslighting session that he undergoes after this, and I'll talk about him again towards the end. But yeah, he gaslights her, tells her that he's just trying to take things slow and everything, and then she realizes that he's not who he is, and she kind of figures out what he's been doing. We're going to talk about Carly. I just wanted to give that introduction. We're going to talk about her in a second when she gets to her mom and dad. But anyway, let's go to you guys' favorite couple, Adult Van and Thaisa. The
I'm
way you beamed up,
blushing. Are you
Dumebi.
blushing?
They
Oh,
bond.
I'm blushing.
They rebond, or actually they rebond over naked girls and childish pranks. Thaisa explains what's going on to Van. She finds
No, she
Oxy.
doesn't even explain. Van catches her and
Well,
gets
yeah,
it
but she
out of her
explains
mouth.
later. She explains everything, and then she finds some Oxy in Van's cupboard, but Van says it belongs to her dead mom, and we probably realize that that's a lie later. Um, Van's face continues to be a great testament to wilderness plastic surgery by teenage girls. So, because yeah, there are no remnants of what happened. Okay, so let's talk about the entire Van and Taisa plot in this spot. I should mention that they later have quite emotional shout off and about Taisa being bold enough to ask for help,
You paint.
and then
Right
other
here,
Ty,
where
Shadow
my
Ty,
heart is.
tries to
That's
kiss
where it
Van and tells her
hurts.
that they're not where they're meant to be.
Period. It's
Okay,
even Shadow Van. Sorry,
Farida,
Shadow
you
Taisa
start.
ships it. Even Shadow Taisa ships it. She said,
Talk about Taisa.
"I'm,
Talk about Taisa and Van without us spending an hour on them alone. Farida, you start.
I'm obsessed. I think what a couple, man. Look at them, and you can see. Okay, now let me be realistic. Taisa is so fucked." And the way she was talking, I was like, just get to the point. Just tell her if anyone will understand you the most, it would be Van, right? And I was sad that she didn't get that
Yeah, but she hasn't seen
immediately.
her in a long time.
Yeah,
I
they
beg, why did
lovers.
she
They're
leave the house and start
soulmates.
coming there?
They're soulmates. For your soulmates, you should not be shy. Um, yeah, I have nothing intelligent to say. Just like I
Mm-hmm.
love looking at them. Great guys.
Wow,
Maybe do
Farida.
you have anything quote
Wow,
unquote intelligent
Farida.
to say?
What the hell?
Yeah, I was like,
First of all, I just want to say, Farida, you need to do better for Van and Ty. Honestly, that was actually poor form.
oh
That's number
wow,
one.
What
wow.
do
Number
you
two,
mean? Excuse me, I have been
Right, they said you
backing
don't
them
really
for like
love love.
five
That you hate.
episodes. Excuse me, I have
yes.
done well for them.
Eh,
I
so
said
you
I was
have
going
to
to be
give them
five
energy. She said,
podcasts.
you have to give them energy. She said, you've been waiting for this reunion, and the reunion was there, and there was, something. Okay, first of all, I love that to develop from what Freda said. I love that Van called Taisa out. Van
Mm-hmm.
was like, just give me the, what did she say? Did she say decency? And just
Mm,
ask me for the help that you came here for, man. What's this rubbish? I
period.
think that was necessary. Then I also like that Van, I think we get a sort of snippet into what happened between them, because when Van starts talking about her mom dying
Mm-hmm.
from cancer or something, and then how cancer scared the bitch out of her or something, and
Mm-hmm.
then Taisa was trying to sympathize or empathize with her, and then she was just like, nah, don't come and be giving me all the fidelity bullshit. What the hell happened to us? And I'm just like, tell her. So did you not hear that bit when like something was happening? She was just like, "Why?" Like then what? When she go and watch
Mm-hmm.
that scene again, when she was shouting, and then she literally just like stop it, and then um Ty now goes to talk about how, oh, I'm scared shit, I don't know what to do, blah 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 blah, and that's when she now says, just have decency to ask for
Mhm.
help, because like you're here now, I can't leave you to leave like this, so just ask me for the help. So I just thought that was a really good like scene to fill us, like give us an idea of what happened. So I feel like from what was said, I think it might have been Thaisa that ended whatever was going on with them. Or if she didn't end it, she was the reason why it ended. Because it almost seems like Van is like, it felt like to me, when you break up with somebody and then you start looking hot, or you've finally moved on and you are doing
I
good, and the
don't,
person just
but
comes
Yes, I
back.
do. I
Sorry.
do know.
For
I do
you.
know.
And the
Thank
person
you.
now comes back into
Sorry,
your life
Bankole,
and you're
for
just
not
like,
being aware.
me, I say also no.
no, I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy for you guys. But I've lost every breakup I've ever had, so it's fine.
I'm screaming.
That's so.
And then
That's very
the like
accountable.
the ex comes back and is like, oh, hey big head. It's like, hey big head, or just, I don't know, trying to just get back in. So it felt like that was what they were going through. So I thought that was
Yeah.
really interesting. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm eager to see if the show builds on that, or
Mm-hmm.
how they build on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just loved when Shadow Tai kissed her. I just feel like the
Shadow
real Tai
Tie knows
wanted to
what's
kiss her,
real.
but she had wife. So Shadow Tai just came to, let me
So
help
Shadow Tai
you.
is not married.
Yeah, Shadow Tai is not
Shadow Tai
married.
is the
Shadow
one who's
Tie
supposed
did
to be.
not.
Shadow Tai
Did not.
belongs to no one. She belongs to no one.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
She belongs to the
Okay,
one with no
staying
eyes.
in staying in 20. True, true. Staying in 2021, Kylie explains to Shauna and Jeff, who hilariously have two very different reactions. Um, that the guy, I saw someone on the Yellow Jacket Reddit. I saw someone talking about how about Shauna explaining everything to Kylie, and she was how Shauna has experienced so much fucked up trauma that she doesn't realize how this would actually mess up her daughter. Like she just
Mm.
thinks, oh, you can just take it in stride because of what she's been through. But yeah, anyway, so they kind of have two very different reactions when Kylie explains to them that she's been dating a cop, essentially. Um, a line I love is when Jeff is like, "How old is he?" And I'm just like, Jeff, how old would be okay? Like he's a cop. Like how she said, like how old? What's the youngest the cop can be that will be okay? Um, but she explains to them that she's made it better because she told him that the person that Shauna is sleeping with is Randy. And again, another strong Jeff heater. I even wrote this down. He was like, "You told him my wife is sleeping with my best friend." Incredible line delivery from the actor. And then she said, "Well, it's better than
Trying.
telling him that she's sleeping with the person that she killed," which
That's
was like,
murder.
I was like,
It's true.
that's facts actually. My biggest takeaway from this scene was kind of like how Callie's face lit up when Shauna was like, "You did well," and like because I think it was, I can't remember who it was, one of you that mentioned last week about how she wants to feel grown and she wants to feel involved, and now she does feel like she did the right thing and she
It
came with a
was
solution,
me.
not the problem. Okay, okay, thank you. Do you want me to
Crazy,
clap?
because I thought it was
Yeah, I
me.
want to
What's
get
your
my
credit?
I
flowers.
was gonna
I
be
want to
like,
get my
I
flower.
thought it was me. I was
It
gonna say, damn, that's some
No, you were
smart
saying
stuff.
how it was a bad decision and she shouldn't have.
Which I still stand
And
by.
but actually, after watching that scene, no. After watching that scene, I agree with you. I said last week that I wasn't decided on
mm-hmm,
how I felt about her doing that. I could understand why she did it,
mm-hmm,
but I hadn't decided whether it was a good or a bad thing. But at this very moment, I have decided that it's a terrible thing that she did.
Why?
Because
Why is
look
that?
at how Callie is just getting involved in all of this mess. It's messy. Callie should not
Okay.
be dealing with all of this.
Oh
Why
yeah,
is
100.
Callie
Yeah,
just like getting
100%. Yeah.
like dealing with a cop, like getting involved in this lie, and then it just opens Callie up for like because now the cops know that she deliberately deceived them.
hmm
So
hmm
what does that now mean for her? Like it's just giving her, "Hey, hello, I'm ready, shoot me."
Well, legally, I don't think it does anything for her because.
Not even from a legal perspective, but just like the mind fuck. Why is your child
Oh yeah,
covering
yeah,
up a
yeah.
murder with her parents? Is this
Oh, she's
Adam's
not.
family?
Oh, that's an interesting pull. That's
Sorry.
good reference. Speaking of Chris Ricci, yeah, no, definitely, and I think I don't think this show is definitely grounding the Shauna storyline in reality. I think from
Hmm.
just the way Jeff
Mhm.
reacts, I'm sure it will have some effect on Callie. I don't think she's just
Hmm.
going to become like Mrs. Smith. Like she's not going to become an evil person,
Hmm.
whatever. It's like it's going to have a real world effect on her. Um,
Guys, I have a
we'll talk
question.
about the end of that storyline as when we get
Do you
to it.
think Callie
Yeah.
and teenage Shauna would have been friends? I always think about that.
That's a good
Why?
Hello?
question.
Yeah, but why do you? It's a good question. But why do you think about it? Like, why do you always think about that?
um because it's a direct, like, I really
Um,
like TV
okay, we have been
shows
friends.
about like young mom, sorry, not young mom, but like seeing the mom at like a young stage and like the comparisons with her daughter. And I think they would not have been friends because Callie is very straightforward and Shauna
Do
is
you know,
very
as you were,
explicit.
yeah, because as you were saying that, I was thinking about which Shauna. Like, because you
Before the
see,
trauma or after the trauma?
Shauna, no, 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 before the trauma or after the trauma, yes, but also Shauna with Jackie, Shauna with Jeff, or Shauna with everyone else. Because Shauna with Jackie is a bit like docile.
Mm-hmm.
Shauna with everyone else is a bit more authoritative or like
Mm-hmm.
maybe a bit even you could say detached.
That's
Shauna
true.
with Jeff is very explicit. I
Mm-hmm.
want this, sit down here, do that, do that. Then Shauna post trauma kind of merges everything. We see her like be more of herself with Jackie. Like she wasn't a pushover, but Jackie was definitely almost driving the steering wheel or like sort of
Mm-hmm.
setting the pace and the tone for the friendship. But post trauma, you could see that that wasn't really the case anymore. And then it was
Mm-hmm.
just like Shauna was becoming her like real self, which is like,
Oh
yes,
yeah,
I
I mean,
can
she
be
came into
quiet,
her.
but I'm,
Yeah,
yeah,
she came
I'm
into her
authoritative when
own.
I say things, yeah. So
I
I
mean,
think,
yeah,
mhm,
yeah.
I think Callie and Shauna would have been friends in the wilderness, but Callie and Shauna would not have been friends
Hmm.
in the high school. I don't remember the name of their high school. I think that Shauna would have irritated Callie
Forbid
pre
to
trauma. Just
just
yeah, just not
too
really being
tight to Jackie's hip. Yeah, that's
too
fair.
tied to Jackie's hip, but also just not really being straightforward. She wasn't really straightforward. You couldn't really like tell with her almost, you know.
Mm.
She
No.
was very
And
she said
Callie's
few
super
words, but
straightforward.
then it wasn't like she
Few
was
words.
quiet. It was like she was a bit like secretive as well. Yeah, because
Who does she
I
have a
don't know.
fight with at the party in the first episode when they're drunk? Was it
Oh,
Taisa?
I
Is
remember that.
Thaisa now when she said just
Taisa.
say you did it and she pushed her? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's go back to the
That's
trauma bit,
okay.
1996. Guys, I hope you're enjoying this back and forth. I hope nobody has
I
got
love it. I
confused.
love it.
Yeah.
Structure A1.
So, so a much taller, but we're not talking about that. Harvey continues to be mute. He's not saying anything, and Mari continues to be an awful, awful person. And I think she accuses Harvey of stealing the meat, and says he owes them something. And they should talk up. Anyway, Mari just continues to be the person that everybody wants to die. We get another glimpse of Akela keeping the mouse a secret. At this point, you just know that's going to lead to a very terrible disaster. I'm just like,
Mhm.
if they've shown us that 2 episodes in a row, then something's going to happen. Either I don't even want to theorize on, and maybe discuss a theories on what the mouse could do. Anyway,
I think
Akila
they're
and
gonna eat it.
Taisa, you think they will eat it?
Hey, use it and make soup now. They are
That
hungry.
won't
Let
do
them eat.
anything. Did you see how small the mouse is?
Hey, they
That's
will use it. Let me tell you, Bankole, they have been drinking a tree back broth for time. That mouse will make a difference. Even
true.
if it's
I
a
mean,
even
I
if
do
it's a
think
bite per person.
I think it might lead to something though. Like whether it's like
Cubes.
And I
strips,
feel like
They
Bankole,
get
you
for
should know this
breastfeeder.
because in secondary school we could share one tom tom with like four people.
vi-
One tom tom. We
I
could
mean, yeah,
break
we
it.
could do that.
Yeah.
I think it will have more of
Wait,
an effect. Either
how?
maybe like I don't know, like
What's the
leading.
logistics of that? Why do you think that's
Farida, don't
normal,
ask about. You didn't
guys?
go to a proper
Wait, why
boarding
are
school,
you
so don't
trying
ask
to
about
That's the
boarding school
truth.
things.
You
Yeah,
didn't. That's the thing.
what? Between
you
You know
didn't go
your
to proper
boarding
boarding
school.
school.
Your boarding school went to
they,
abroad. Your boarding.
Yeah, Farida, let's
they
forget
used
about
to
it.
give us
Anyways,
like
Mhm.
snacks
um,
and like cinnamon buns
what?
in my
Yeah,
boarding school.
if you say so. Anyway, so Akila and Taisa do some black on black bonding. They vocalize what
Yes,
most
needed.
people in 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 Lottie's group might be feeling.
Okay.
I wrote it down, so let me just quickly go through it. So Akila talking about the ritual she had before her matches back in the real world says it just felt good. We could pretend it made a difference. It's not like we really believed in it, not deep down. I think I'm going to keep going to Lottie's morning thing. Um, you I think they want to believe that that is what they're thinking. A lot of them believe that they're just doing it maybe for the placebo effect, not because they really believe. I think if not now, a lot of them will start to really believe. I think that has to be the next evolution to where we're going to. Um Also, actually, I remember this now. While I was on the again Yellow Jacket subreddit, guys, I'm never on this on Reddit, but for you guys, for this podcast, I'm doing it. Anyways, when I was on Reddit, they mentioned about how it looked to be one like snowing in the the flash forward when you have Pit Girl and them eating the Pit Girl. That it looked to be a bit snowy, but also they had all these hides, obviously, like that killed animals. So the assumption is that it's 12 months from now. It's the next winter. It's not this winter that they get. So they have another year to get to that point where they become what we see, which obviously makes sense because they are really just starting their evolution. Anyway, so Travi tries to get Harvey to explain where he's been, but 6 foot Harvey isn't talking. But he is sharing glances with Lottie, which is a bit interesting. Travis and Nat get into a fight where Nat agrees that or confirms that she planted the bloody trousers and because she wanted Travis to live in the real world. What what are you guys' thoughts on basically all of that, but mostly Travis and Nat? Them you guys maybe you wanted them to have that fallout. Were you happy with the fallout? Were you satisfied with the fallout? Were you happy that it didn't draw to the next episode?
So you see, um, I'm happy that they did. I'm happy that they did because I feel like I am both Nat and Travis. Travis was being incredibly passive aggressive. And I feel like sometimes I can be so passive aggressive, but I'm
Fair.
also confrontational, like Natalie, who just talk to me. So it was really funny to see how like that played out. But I think it was necessary because I feel like he was building resentment towards her and he was blaming
Hmm.
himself for how heavy he is. Like, I'm not speaking, I'm just there, just eating people's food and just, being accused of stealing meat or whatever. And
Hmm.
just, just like that. And he's like going through a lot, processing a lot, but it
Hmm.
almost seems like Nat is being a bit, she's trying so hard to be patient and give him time to come to her. So she's trying to like be normal and act like there's nothing so she doesn't push him. But him, he's just like, I don't even want to smell your stench around me. Like, don't
Hmm.
talk to me. I want to smell you. I don't want to see you, nothing. So it was just really interesting to see how like they dealt with that. And I think that just having that, like, having him say what he needed to say or what he wanted to say, even if it was like just a bite size, was important.
Well, both Travis and Natalie to me were like both right in their own ways. But also both wrong in their own ways. And it
Hmm.
just goes back to show that we're watching teenagers. And you're like, oh, you guys are so teenage. Like, obviously you should be angry, but that anger should be like, I don't know, like 3 hours. Then you come back and you realize each other's points. Harvey is really tall. They should have fought a bit about that. Um, I think that mouse is going to kill a killer in some kind of way. I know you think the mouse will kill the wolf,
Jesus
but
Christ.
I feel like something
Kill.
that mouse is going to kill a killer.
No, like will be the reason.
Yeah, not it will kill her, but
Oh,
like
I
it will
thought you meant
be
like the
reason.
mouse will actually kill her.
Maybe mouse has
It
like
will lead to
disease. You
her
don't
death.
know.
Uh,
You never know. That's why she's
I mean,
keeping it
they can't.
crazy.
I don't know how long they plan on staying. I don't know how long they plan on staying in the wilderness, like the show's creators. But they'll probably have to slow down in killing people because Crystal has died. Episode what is what episode 5, 4?
Five.
Um,
Crystal died in
this is
episode
episode
five.
5. This is episode 5. Yeah, I know at least one person's gonna die before the season ends. Like there are only so many people they can actually kill off in terms of the wilderness cast.
Hmm.
Um,
Do you think? Do you not think
Mari.
that
Well, I
like?
was just counting down days.
Can I say something? Even though I get what you mean, like, what if the next
Mhm.
season is war with the smartest? You know, like how in Hunger Games, you first of all kill off the weaklings, and then it's the last like 3 weeks of like the actual clans who know the stuff and are really intelligent fighting. So that actually maybe they want to get all
Yeah.
these baby characters out of the way so we can get
Well,
to the war.
yeah, but it also goes back to the theory of are there going to be more people because we know 6 people are alive in 2021, right?
Mm.
Excluding that 6 people that are alive now, we have Mari, as in the wilderness. We have Mari, we have Akila, we have 2 other girls that I hope you guys know what I'm talking about because I don't know their names.
We
One is
do?
Mm.
white, and then
Eh? Huh?
and just as yeah, we have 2 other
You guys are
girls. So
playing with me.
I know their faces, but
yeah,
they
you know
haven't
their
really done
faces.
us
Yeah. So
said
those are
much.
all people. I think that's just so that's 4 extra 10. Maybe there's someone else. The good thing about this show though is that we know you're making a TV show, so like nobody's gonna hold you. Like you can randomly just throw somebody else and be like, oh, they've been in the background all this while. No one's gonna go back and be like, where is this person? I mean, people will, but like nobody's serious to go back. Like, where's this person been all this while? But I don't think they won't go. They won't add like 10 more people. So like
Mm.
for that war to have stakes, people have to die, and it can't just be the people that we know are alive in part of that group. So I don't think 20 people can die. But maybe they do find another group of people. Um,
The heavy
Someone we
ones.
do know that is alive though is Misty. And guys, up you ready because this is gonna be a long Misty run. We were talking last week about how Misty hadn't done much so far in the season.
Ah, Misty the murderer.
So first of
Misty
all,
is
Misty
a
and Walter,
sociopath.
after a very very revealing game of two truths and a lie, find Lottie's camp. Misty and Natalie finally talk and finally share a scene this season. And Nat lets it slip that Lottie is the one that took her and runs an institution. Um, I'll give you guys the option. Do you want to finish like 2021 Misty and then go to 1996, or do you want to go to 1996 Misty now?
I don't mind. I have many things to say about both.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You
1996
pick.
Misty.
Wow.
You
You
pick
get like many
Misty,
words.
Misty 1996. Oh my god. Her and Crystal continue to bond over shared secrets. And then Misty, who continues to be terrible at reading social cues, and she believes that her and Crystal are closer than they actually are. And then she tells her that she was the one that destroyed the plane's emergency transmitter, meaning she's the reason that they are stuck here.
She's
And Crystal,
insane.
being a normal human being,
Yeah.
gets angry at that. And at this point, I just want to praise Samantha Harrenty, who is the actress that plays Teenage Misty, because, and I mean this in the best possible way, like I could see Christina Ricci in that scene. Like I was like, oh, these obviously the actors across the board are very good, and you're like, oh, you see different affectations that they all have for teenage and older characters. But I was just like, oh, it looks very much like Christina Ricci, like older Misty in this scene. I just thought it was very
Mhm.
good when she did that scene. When she was threatening Crystal, I was like, oh yeah, you're the same Misty who we are seeing in 2021, who can do some very very choice things.
Mhm.
Um,
It reminded me of that toilet scene where she said, "Hit him." Do you remember?
on the
Oh my
boat.
God.
She's
Yeah.
she's so
Um. Yeah, and just like that, Crystal becomes the first casualty of the season, the first dead
Mhm.
body of the season. She takes a plunge into their toilet. It was hilarious to me that Misty ran down thinking that
That was a
she
good
might be a
one. She did. She did take
thank
a plunge into the
cute.
toilet.
yes, she did.
Oh
She landed on some
god.
Um,
shit.
Oh god.
it was hilarious to me that Misty thought she might still be alive. Like she went down to do. I was like, Misty, did you see that? Did you see that
You know
fall?
what? I don't think I don't even think she thought she was alive. I think she wanted to make sure she was dead because I promise you, if Misty had gone down there and seen her twitch
She
in
would
the
have killed
slightest, she
her.
would have used a rock to hit her
Fair.
bum.
But so
Yeah.
why is she
Because
doing hurt compressions?
eh, she's lying. That's just supposed to make sure. Look, let me tell that Misty babe. If she had just done her compression, staying alive, and she did, she would have just
She would have
because that
knocked
babe
out.
had told her like, look, if I get back to that cottage, like a trumpet, everybody will hear that you are the reason
I
why I'm
can't believe
here.
Crystal is like, oh, my real name is Kristen because I like when people call me Crystal. And Misty was like, yeah, and I'm the reason we're still stuck on. Like Misty was, how did she think that
do
was
you,
equal?
She
do you
doesn't
know what
have
I even thought
friends
was so
and it's not
hilarious?
social
I
cues.
Yeah, she doesn't have friends.
Hmm.
And what's so crazy is that when she was saying that story, she was setting it up. She started with her justification. She
Hmm.
said, I was finally accepted. People were listening to me. I felt important. So I went and I found it and I destroyed it. And Crystal was like, you could see, like,
Yeah,
you could
like
see the
one plus
change
one
in
equals five. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Ah, she was horrified. And at first, she could even see when Crystal. I feel like it was such an interesting episode because you could see the moment Crystal knew she was gonna die.
Hmm.
I feel like you could actually see it on her face the very second she knew, like, yeah, I'm gonna die, because you could just see her face. She was like, yeah, yeah. What are you gonna do? Poison me?
Yeah,
And then she
yeah.
saw the delayed reaction in Misty
And Misty's
before
like,
Misty
no, I'll
then goes
fucking
on to
kill you.
say, and then she knew in that very second she was going to die. And then she said, rather I slip than you push me.
Well, yes. I don't even necessarily. I'm not even disagreeing with you. I think it's so sad how the wilderness is teaching Misty all the bad things to do to survive and be a person, which is a direct reflection of why she's so Misty in the present world. Like if she was, if everything was hunky dory and we played by the rules of Marvel and superheroes, this was supposed to go back, tell them they punish Misty. Misty's like, oh wait, I shouldn't do selfish things to make myself feel better. And you can have the Misty who kills um that girl, that girl at the start, or who's just like very unhinged. So it's all sad because Misty is not gonna learn the real lesson from what she did, and her secret stays longer. And yeah, poor
What is the
Misty.
real lesson from what she did?
That you should not do that. I don't think that's what
I mean,
they're
is
teaching
it?
her in
Is
the
it the real
wilderness.
lesson?
What's the lesson
Like,
to you?
no, you said that she's learning the wrong lessons, but she's learning the right lessons to survive.
No, but it's
And
not this. It's survival in a very it's survival of a wilderness that she's taken into a real world that she doesn't necessarily need to survive that way. Like, don't you remember how we met Misty? Wasn't she like poisoning guys and like throwing them in places and locking them up? Am I getting this wrong? Wasn't she a bit
yeah, later in the season,
responsible?
yes, but that person was threatening her and her friends. And look, I don't want to defend
No, she
Misty's
killed that
sociopathy.
person she was taking care of.
Yes, which I was going to talk about taking care of. Well, that's a stretch, but yeah.
Was she not nursing the babe in the old people's home?
Oh,
But
what the
then
old woman?
no,
I don't think she killed the
Yes.
old woman.
What she did, she overgave. Okay, she gave her pink, increased
Yeah,
her
she
payment.
punished her. She didn't give her painkillers, but I don't think she killed
Why
her.
should she be punishing
punished
her?
Oh
her.
no, I'm
I
not
feel
saying.
like that.
I'm
I
not
feel
saying
like
it's
that
right.
babe died though. I think she killed that babe. I feel like
I
that babe
feel that
died.
babe died.
No, she died. She
That should
died,
be the
but I think she
title of
died.
this
But
episode.
I think she died because she was old. I don't think
No, I
Misty
think she
killed her
died because she was in pain and she did not get her medication and it's Misty's fault.
one time. I don't think like.
How do you
Anyways,
know? Do you know what she was suffering from?
true. I
How
don't
will you
know.
know?
But anyway, okay.
Period.
In 2021, I think now everything, at least to me, everything that Misty does kind of seems darker with this secret. Like,
With this revelation, Abby.
this is one of the secrets that you just like. I don't. I don't know. I'm thinking of Pretty Little Liars now for some random reason. But like, I mean, we all know the theme song. Like, two can keep a secret when one of them is dead. Like, I don't actually think
Two can keep a
Keep a
secret
secret.
if one of them
I
is
was
dead.
I was hoping somebody would take the bait and sing the song. But yeah, like it's very possible that nobody ever finds out that Misty was one of like Misty's responsible for Crystal's death because how would they
We
find out?
don't know
Like,
yet. What if they do?
no,
What
no,
if Lottie
I'm
saw it
saying
in
it's
a vision?
true. I'm saying it's
Except
possible that
Lottie
nobody
does
finds
have
out. Like that's a
magic,
possible thing.
quote unquote.
Um,
Farida, why are you doing magic? We have lost this supernatural arguments 2 episodes in a row. You
okay,
better
wait.
be
Yeah.
ready this
Well,
episode.
so in 2021, Misty is a bit. Nat has told Misty that it was Lottie's people that took her, kidnapped her, and Misty is way more fixated on the fact that she didn't keep track of Lottie, and she didn't know that Lottie had this whole cult than anything else. She's also quite delusional about Nat's feelings towards her, or maybe denial, whichever one of them is true. Um, Walter, we kind of get impression that Walter might be a bit loose in the head himself, even with the
Mm.
metal plate, because he tells Misty that he knows that she lied about Adam's murder, but he thinks that Misty killed Adam to. He actually thinks
Protect
Misty
her
killed
friend.
Adam, yeah, to protect one of her friends, but he's perfectly fine with her being a serial killer. Um, and first of all,
I
just
think
find you a
people
man that
like that
likes
work
you
with both.
regardless of your extracurricular activities. And
That's
Period.
find
the
it.
lesson we've learned from Jeff and Walter.
Just
That is the
Yeah.
lesson.
find it.
I'm not settling for
Um,
anything.
I think I have in my notes
Please,
that yeah,
suitors, are you hearing? Suitors, are you hearing?
I have in my notes that Misty being annoyed that he thinks she can kill is funny because we know for a fact that she killed someone like a week ago. Like she killed
Yes,
Jessica
yes,
like a week ago.
yes.
No, it wasn't that long. But she's acting so offended. Um, I also have this question in my note: is Walter actually more stable than Misty? Because at least he accepts he's crazy and he's willing to live with it. Misty is still a bit in denial over hers. She doesn't think she can.
I think he might be more stable just
Mm-hmm.
because he's in a place of acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Misty is still in a place of delusion.
Yeah, definitely delusion, denial, all of them. But yeah, I mean that's obviously not the last time we see Walter. We know, but we do know now that there's at least some darkness towards him. He's
He's
not
fine with
a
murder.
straight laced. Yeah, he's more than fine with it. He seems to embrace it. Misty ends the episode by seeking refuge in Lottie's cult. So I was thinking about the fact that Misty is so fixated on the fact that she didn't know where Lottie was, and I think that's interesting that she focuses on that because it means that if Misty didn't know where Lottie was, it means nobody knew where Lottie was. So everybody probably
Mm.
thought she was still in a mental home or dead. Um, and I also find it very intriguing that they continue to separate adult Lottie, from adult Shauna and adult Ty,
Mm.
because I'm thinking that
Hmm.
whatever their like, I think whatever their reactions are to Lottie will kind of fill in the gaps a lot, if that makes sense. Like I think we do know that whatever happens to break these guys will be probably between Lottie versus
And
either
Shauna.
Shauna and Thaisa.
I think
Um,
it's Shauna and Thaisa. No,
mhm.
I think it's Shauna, and then Thaisa has to pick, and Thaisa chooses Shauna's side. Because you remember that scene in the wilderness
Yeah,
where Shauna got so pissed that Thaisa went to go and breathe and meditate.
yeah,
And she said, "You went with them."
yeah,
I
yeah.
said,
We're
"Oh,
gonna get we're gonna get to that.
Me too. I said, oh, it's coming.
Because
Friction. Oh, wow.
coming together." Honestly, I wish this show came out when I was doing literature in at A levels or literature at uni. I would have literally gotten 4 marks. Wow. I would have done evaluation and assessment. The shock.
um, yes. So adult Shauna's ruse with Randy goes off when Randy can't get it up, and he decides to use like mainly. I was like, oh, this is not. Mainly he decides to use lotion to as a substitute. I was like, okay, this is obviously not going to end well. Um, I have watched enough detective shows to know that Saracusa is not normal upstairs. He's a bit.
Mm,
He's going to get very obsessed with this case. He's already crossing lines for this case. That's
mm,
quite obvious. He's going to go
It's
quite
in
bad.
good.
And my thinking is that maybe it gets to a place where Kevin has to choose, and he chooses to help the Yellow Jackets. That's what I think. I think he. I also don't think Syracuse makes it out of this season. I think he dies this season. I think something happens. Like I think he dies.
I think Shana will kill
Yeah.
him.
Period.
Yeah,
Maybe Callie will
yeah.
pass her the knife.
Maybe
Which will
Callie will pass her the
traumatize her
knife.
more,
Oh my
but
god,
hey.
that would be
Oh my
quite.
god, what if she teaches Callie how to skin a human flesh?
I don't think Shona is that bad. I don't think
She might
that's.
not mean to teach her, but Callie might be in the room because she wants to help her mother and seek her mother's further approval
Hmm.
of her
Breaking
efforts
Bad.
in protecting her family.
You got it.
And then
Maybe
Jeff might just
that's
not even know what to do or how to process
Imagine Jeff living with
everything
two
with two
Shonas. He'll
crazy
be like,
babes.
"What has just happened? What has
Jeff is
happened to
in
my life?"
trouble.
Um, but no, yeah, I think it might get to a point where Kevin has to like. Obviously, we know he still loves Nat, and I think it might get to a point where he sees Syracuse crossing lines and doing things, and he's like, "Okay, maybe I have to. Maybe I have to help the Yellow Jackets in this case," because we have to remember that it's not only that Shona killed this guy, but like Nat is obviously involved in the cover up. So maybe
Mm.
that's what triggers him to pick a side. Um,
Isn't it really weird when people still like the people they liked in secondary school? Like you're at least 45 in the show, right? Why like get over it?
I thought you believed in love. Wait, what the?
I don't
No,
know,
sorry, I'm
man.
sorry, Farida. Farida, no, take that back because you're the one shouting about Van and Taisa
No,
throughout
that's
this
different. That's so
episode. Why
different.
is it
There's a
different?
difference between
Why is it different?
soulmates who forged their connection in the woods at the ages of 17, and then one guy who had an unrequited crush at 17 to someone. Like it's so
If
different.
anything,
Like, it's so
if anything,
different.
I think the crush makes more sense because what you're saying is that they trauma bonded and we should support that. I don't think we support trauma bonding on this
It's not
podcast.
trauma bonding. It's actually very healthy bonding. Excuse you. They actually support themselves. They go
Over the burnt
prayers.
bodies of their friends.
Oh
Is
well,
that
what do you
what's
want them to
healthy?
do? Eat
I
some flowers?
actually think that Van and Thaisa had a bit of a bond before they went to the wilderness.
Yeah,
It
that's
just
why they
only
were.
grew stronger because then they were
Yeah, we
isolated.
actually don't know if they
But
were a couple before.
they weren't. I feel like maybe Van was openly gay, but
Mm-hmm.
Thaisa wasn't. And when
Hmm.
Mm.
they were in the wilderness and everything, I guess, in Thaisa's eyes became acceptable, she now became more open about it. Because I remember there were some scenes in season one where like you could see some sort of friendliness between them.
Mm.
Yeah, but it was just like a bit
That's
like
fair. Okay, so yeah, I have on my notes just a random note. I love how high Randy's voice is. I wanted to mention that both episode, but it just makes like it's just so funny because he's obviously this big guy and his voice is so high and he's like he was one of the high school jocks and I just find that whole thing
yeah,
very
that's so
funny.
crazy that that guy was a joke.
Okay, let's kind of start moving towards the end of the episode. Shauna wakes up in the cabin. This is young Shauna in the cabin to find Lottie just calmly whispering words of affirmation to her baby.
I would have
Um,
beaten her the
What was
fuck
Lottie
up.
actually saying?
I would have be. Oh
I think she was
gosh, can
like,
you
"You would change this
imagine?
for us," or something like that. Like you would change everything or something like that. Anyways, again, treating this child like he's Jesus. But
I would
Taisa
have rocked
defends
her head.
Lottie, which obviously angers Shona, and Shona storms out of the
Yeah,
cabin. Taisa follows her into the incoming snowstorm.
Do you know
At
what
the
I
same
thought was
time,
strange there? So why did Taisa look at Lottie and Lottie look at Taisa before Taisa stood up for Lottie? I found that a bit strange.
well, I think it's like,
Why are they looking? I when did that one start? Is this breathing that Taisa is breathing every
yeah,
morning?
because Taisa is believing it more than she wants to accept. She's believing in Lottie more than she wants to
Mm.
accept, and obviously that's only going to amplify based on what happened in the next episode. Um, we're going to finish the wilderness in a bit, but in real world, in 2021, Nat is still trying to bring down Lottie, and she attempts to expose her to her followers, but they don't care because they already know. Um, oh, again, stolen from the subreddit. They were talking about how last week Lottie didn't want to tell anyone, actually even Nat, that she was going to see a therapist because like that's not what she preaches for her people. Like she doesn't, so she
Mm.
doesn't preach. She preaches for them to not follow that kind of Western medicine and do their own things in the cult, but like she's going to see
Well,
therapists
they're
and
not
everything.
eating people yet now. How pass a
How-
environment?
she's gone
Oh god.
beyond pumping
Yeah,
people to actual therapy.
you know, if there's something about Lottie, Lottie knows where her limits are. She said, okay, I guess this doesn't help Kumail. Let me
there's,
go and see a specialist and take some medication.
there's also a theory that that therapist was not real and was like a hallucination because
Uh,
obviously she convinces Lottie to follow her like her vision urges.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know if
thought that was
I don't know if I would
odd.
accept that.
Why would
Yeah,
a
yeah, I mean, and
therapist start
obviously
to
her
do
own
that?
therapist just wasn't around for that time. I mean, there's logic to it. I don't know if I do. My only gripe against it is that so far Yellow Jackets hasn't done the thing where they're like the thing you saw 2 episodes ago was not real. Like everything happens within the episode. You find out that the visions are visions within the episode. Think about Ty and Sammy. So I'm surprised if Yellow Jackets did that kind of 2 episode reveal. Anyway, Lottie
Sammy, Sammy,
convinces
Sammy. Sorry.
Thank you.
Lottie convinces Nat to
Thank
allow her to try and find out what Travis meant by the note. The note saying Nat was right. And we get a very revealing flashback. I'm just going to say what happens in the flashback quickly in notes. During a coke binge, Nat almost overdoses. And when she's being revived, she has visions. The main vision is an alternate version of their crash where everyone dies, no one survives. And Nat sees the Antler Queen coming into the plane. And when I mean, obviously, this is allusions to someone like Van, who said that she saw something before she died. Lottie as well, so obviously saw visions when she was being baptized by Laura Lee. And then she says to Travis, no, sorry, she says to Lottie first of all, actually, because Lottie's like, I want to know what Travis was going through. And she says, you know what he was going through. You started it again. It's kind of in line with what Lottie told her therapist last week about how she knows how bad it can get when things like this happen. So when Nat is revived, she tells Travis, we weren't alone out there. She tells him, I saw it, I felt it, we brought it back with us. My there's one other quote out of my notes. She says, the whole time there was something, some darkness out there with us or in us. It still is. I think that's what she tells Lottie, not Travis. So my question to you guys is, do you feel that this is too quick a jump for Nat as a character who has been one of Lottie's biggest skeptics? Do you think to now make her espousing the same spiritual things, is that a weird writing choice from the show, or is it something that you're willing to accept based on if they can explain it to us?
I don't think it's weird. Let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you why. I feel like, and this is something that we actually forgot to mention and discuss. You know, when Coach is looking at that drawing of the tree,
Mm-hmm.
and then Harvey comes in. Harvey
Mm-hmm.
doesn't talk to the coach. So why the fuck is Harvey talking to the coach? And Harvey says, my friend told me to go. She told
Told
me
me
to
not to
go. And then
come,
he said,
not to come
not to
back.
come
Yeah,
here. He told
yeah.
me not to come back. And then he says, who's your friend? And
Mm-hmm.
then he now goes, she, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was just so when I saw that, I was like, what? And then when I saw like the episode, like the the what's is that, the
Visions.
hypnosis vision,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever, that Nat was reliving, I thought that that was really interesting, because then what happened with Harvey? Does Harvey then, or does the coach then share what Harvey shared with him with the rest of the group?
yeah.
So do they now try and figure out, okay, so who is this Harvey's friend? And is it this Antler Queen? And
Mm.
what's happening with all of that? And because already like Harvey as a character is a very huge like sore point for Nat. And I think that in that moment of like Lottie saying, Harvey's alive, Harvey's alive, Harvey's alive, Nat saying, no, 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 doing whatever she does to make sure that Trav believes that Harvey is not there. All of a sudden, Harvey appears. And then Harvey is talking about a she who
Mm-hmm.
told him not to come back. I feel like when we figure out what happens in that window, it would make more sense to us as to why Nat had that vision. So I feel like her shift, like she might not have been an initial follower, but I feel like there was fear or belief at some point before she left that wilderness, which is why she would then subsequently have those visions when
About to
when she
die.
almost ODs.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I think my gripe is that adult Nat, as of this episode even, was so anti Lottie and was trying to bring Lottie down. So unless maybe like her trauma kind of suppressed that whole interaction with the overdosing and everything, it do you get what I mean? So it's kind of like, well,
I
you
get
don't
what you
believe in
mean.
Lottie's things. What are you saying that it followed us? Like you've gone.
No, I get what you mean, but I feel like you can believe that there's a supernatural thing there
Mhm,
and not believe in Lottie. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge that there's something going on and there's a darkness or whatever,
mm,
but it doesn't mean that you agree with what Lottie's saying or what Lottie's seeing. Because even for Lottie, Lottie's not telling you that there's a darkness. Lottie just feels like she's just feeling something inside her bone and reporting it. But she's
mm.
not been like, oh, is the antler queen I'm referring to or whatever. So I feel like you can definitely believe that something is going on, but still feel like, nah, fuck Lottie. What the fuck is she doing? Why is she doing that? But you are still terrified, like, how far wagwan? What's
Yeah,
going on?
I mean,
And I
I'm
think that
still.
that's where Nat is. Nat is no to Lottie, but she kind of understands that there's just something that is going on here. And what is that? Because remember, she also had that thing with the, what do they call that animal? That white
The
animal. What was
yeah
The white moose.
that?
yeah, whatever, the moose or the elk
Yeah,
or whatever.
that came. And then
Yeah.
she thought that it was a vision until she saw it again in the frozen, whatever, whatever. And then she was
Oh,
like,
you
oh
think it's
shit,
the
so maybe
same one?
I'm.
That makes sense. Actually, that would make sense if it's the same one. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that would
Hmm.
make sense.
So I
Wow.
feel like Nat herself has had. Frida, do you say wow?
Yeah.
I think I'm also just still fixated on her saying in season one that like Travis never believed in any of that stuff, which more and more seems untrue. Or at the very like, so it's just yeah, I'm just very very intrigued to know what's going on there. Farina, do you have any thoughts on all of this?
You know,
Or are you
I find
still
Natalie.
you don't say anything or you don't want to fight for the other side? It's not.
No, you know, I find is it Natalie I find boring or Lottie? Not boring, but they're not my
Uh,
people I put much of my mind to. I would say though, I think it's obvious that she can't remember doing that with Travis or telling him that thing. That's why they had to do the whole spooky voodoo for her to get there. So
yeah.
I think like we're all smart people here. But I think it was
Well,
actually she just could not remember. That's why it's not necessarily like a big character job.
actually, that's not a terrible point because I do remember now when Misty says, "What were you right about?" She says, "I have I can't remember what he's talking about." So it's possible that she had very suppressed this whole instance, and then Lottie's visions had to
Which
bring it
is
back
fair,
up.
to be
Yeah, which
honest.
is yeah,
Because
very
I feel
fair.
like when you have like drug abuse or alcohol abuse, it's also very common for you to not have like a lot of your memories,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
why I guess you had to do that hypnosis like scene to like go back.
Well, okay, yes. I guess if I'm convincing myself, it's that
If I'm convincing myself.
her natural
No,
state.
we
Yeah,
are
her natural state
convincing
is that
you.
yeah, her natural state is that she doesn't believe. But then, whatever happened in that moment of the near overdose and the visions, everything made her, if not believe, be conscious or be wary. But she forgot about everything. So obviously, she reverts to her natural state until she goes and sees this again. Which, knowing that Misty is a few feet away for the future episodes, is quite interesting. Okay, let's wrap up by going into the snowstorm of '96.
No, how can you talk about that scene without talking about the antler queen shadow that this babe saw
I
on
mean,
TV?
okay, go ahead. I mean, it's a
No, I didn't
vision.
have much to say. I just wanted to mention
You
that
don't
she
mention
saw
it,
it
fair
and
enough.
she
Yeah,
started crying.
I put it down as one of Lottie's visions. I didn't really have anything to say about it.
But I
Um,
wasn't sure if it was something that came or if it was like Lottie's reflection. Like if Lottie was the embodiment of the antler queen and she hadn't seen it until Nat said what Nat said. Or whether the antler queen has just been hovering around
oh no, no,
costuming
I
as a
think it's
separate
not.
entity
I think it's Lottie seeing it in the shadow.
As
rather
what
than
if the
it being
anti-queen
Lottie.
isn't the antler queen? What if it's just a figment of their imaginations? You
It's
got that from
possible.
Reddit?
Well, I mean, yeah, but we do know there's an antler queen. As in, it might be one of them, but we know there's somebody wearing the antler queen costume when they eat Pit Girl in the first episode.
I want to know who Pit Girl is.
Yeah, I
This
don't
girl
think we're
is
going to find out. Like I
married.
said, that might be a year from now in terms of their timeline. Okay, let's the snowstorm of '96. Shauna and
This
Tice
is
are my favorite friendship. Shares a great scene in which what you mentioned earlier, that line where um Shauna says that you're on their team, and then Ty says like there's one fucking team and we're all on it, and then Shauna says you
very
can't
mature.
think that's true, which is showing us again more signs of that. Like Shauna has already seen the split happening. Tysa hasn't really accepted it yet. Um Misty manages to make it back to the cabin. She lies to everyone that she lost Crystal in the storm, and then the storm gets worse. First, I have on my note that the score didn't have to go that hard. So shout out to the composers Craig Wedrin and our Waronker, because between the storm and Nat's visions, the music was doing some great work. You know what? I was going to talk about this scene, but maybe because I believe this will be the biggest point as part of your evidence for Supernatural. Do you want to just go off? I'll let you just
I want
play.
Farida to start. Farida. Oh yeah. Start.
well,
Hmm.
some girls decided to talk, and then coincidentally, their friends came back. Yeah, that's
You
that's
can even
it.
hear that she doesn't even believe it herself. The way the
Honestly,
energy
That's the
dropped.
way. That's the way I feel. I think the higher powers that be that are not supernatural voodoo just said no. Sorry, the calculations of the earth just decided to do it.
Ah,
That's it for me.
I
okay.
think that Farida doesn't believe what she just said. That's the first thing. So
Yeah.
let's get it out of the way. Now, secondly, I thought it was a very good setup with how, because okay, so Misty comes in and then they panic, they all panic and they go outside and they panic and everyone is confused and no one is listening. And then Lottie goes like, "What can you hear?"
Mm-hmm.
And it forces everyone to like sort of like tune into that morning session where you're listening to the wind and
Wait, I'm
somebody's saying
sorry.
is I can hear
Sorry
it
to cut you off.
laughing.
I think Nat's delivery of how the fuck would I help is just like so good. But sorry, please continue.
But yeah, and I can hear the wind laughing, I can hear this. And it's so funny how as they're panicking,
Mm-hmm.
so Van and not Van, Ty
Taisa
and
and Shauna. Mm-hmm.
Shauna out there, and then all of a sudden, like Tysa starts reciting those things Lottie will say, like, "What can you hear? Breathe,
I
blah blah
hear my
blah." And
breath.
as soon
I
as
hear the
I hear
trees.
my breath,
I hear the
and
wind.
exactly, as soon as she like registers that, and they also register it simultaneously, it's almost as though there's just a calm that washes over, and something is leading her, because we know for damn sure that they are not seeing anything.
Mm-hmm.
They are not saying. Their eyes are like they're not really saying. So they're literally like listening
New
and
gift
walking in
unlocked.
direct. So I just feel like it was so funny because we also know that Ty like subconsciously has those direction things. So I feel like when she then has to do the breathing and the listening, that allows her subconscious to take over from her conscious doubtful mind and just directs them in the right direction. And I feel like in that very moment, she truly believed what she was doing,
Mm-hmm.
especially because Shauna was in labor. And I feel like that was a very solidifying moment in their friendship. I don't know if there's something more solidifying coming up,
I think
but
so.
I literally feel like, I mean, there might be.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Shauna probably felt like this bitch saved my life. I don't know what she was like, reciting, but you know, this bitch saved my
What?
life. And it was just
She was
interesting
like,
how they like
like I
it's
well.
like I don't know
Um,
what incantation this guy is saying, but who?
so I wrote
Thank
down
God
what
I'm here.
what they so both camps, i.e. Tyson on one camp and then the other girls on one camp say, I
Mhm.
hear my breath, I hear the trees, I hear the wind. Then
Exactly.
Tysa says, I feel my friends
Together,
coming to
oh,
find us. Yes,
together.
and then
Hmm.
and then the other girls say, I feel my friends coming back to us. So they're like, I feel my friends coming to find us, I feel my friends coming
Oh,
back to us.
Farida,
And then the
say
music is
logic
so
and
great because then
reasoning.
you start hearing all the chanting in the background.
Mm.
Anyways, like you mentioned,
Oh, mhm.
Shauna goes into labor. That's where we finished the episode. She's in labor. She's about to give birth. I have questions for you guys because we're wrapping up. So we know the birth is going to be in 2 weeks' time, next episode. Um, quick
But
predictions.
how
Quick
can they wait for
predictions.
2 weeks? That's so irritating.
Well, you don't have
Sorry.
to because you have screen.
Yeah, I'm watching it tonight. Sorry.
But you don't have, but you can't watch past that. So it means you would have to wait 2 weeks for the next one. So look, I'm just like, I don't know. You do you.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Anyway, okay. So the baby's gonna be born in 2 weeks. Tell me what. Give me your bets. Give me your predictions. Stillborn, alive but dead in minutes. Alive but surviving. Give me what? What do you think?
Alive, dead,
That
and
baby can't
eaten.
survive. That
Dead
baby can't
like in minutes
survive.
or dead like towards the end of the season?
Alive, dead in minutes, eaten.
Farida. Wait, sorry, wait, no. Eating as in first of all, they're not eating this baby. I'm sorry.
How
Eating
do
as
you
in that
know?
episode. They're not eating the baby in that
It might
episode.
not be in the episode, but I feel like they'll eat that baby.
They're
I
not
feel like they're gonna chow that
How can
child.
you
I would
eat a
love
Honestly.
baby?
I would love for them to eat the baby, but I don't think like Shauna would kill everyone right there. None of them will survive. None
And
of
I
them will
feel
come out.
like that might be why some
That's so
people there are
nasty.
only 6 people alive.
And I'm saying that Shauna will not.
And that might be why they're not talking to Lottie.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It could be
And that
well,
might be
yeah.
why Shona doesn't want to tell her child what happened because she's so traumatized
I mean,
by what
I,
she did as a reaction
I
to
think
them
something. I
eating
think
the
something.
baby.
Something terrible is going to happen with that baby that Lottie will be involved in. I don't know if. I mean, I would love for them to eat it, but I don't know if that's what's going to happen. Farida, what's your prediction?
You'd love
Yeah,
for
come
them
on.
to eat it.
Yeah,
That's
look at the
wild.
show we're watching. As in, what?
We've established that Bankole is one of the cannibals on
This is
Yellow
not Abbott
Jackets in
Elementary.
this
I
season.
want them to eat the baby.
Please
Like
don't kill me a pig.
this is this is the show we're watching.
You would have been
Um,
so fun in like Lost days or Breaking Bad days.
well, I mean, don't bring up Breaking Bad, otherwise
Also,
this
I've been
podcast will
watching
break up.
Breaking Bad, by the way.
Clap for yourself.
You love it, don't
Farida,
you?
Farida, what's your
I
pick?
don't know that I can go that far, but so
Farida,
far not
Farida, what's your
terrible.
pick?
My pick is that baby probably dies Pam. Um, I'm shocked. I think she's gonna have a miscarriage because, like, what the fuck, guys? She's a
So
teenager.
My
it's
dear,
stillborn.
miscarriage is late
Yeah,
too.
that's part.
Miscarriage is
So it's
late.
stillborn. It's stillborn. I
Oh
think the
no,
baby's
miscarriage is late. Yes,
Yeah.
my biology was off.
no, no. It's
Still,
so to be a stillborn, it will come out and probably be dead. Um, I don't know. I think the baby will be alive, and I think it might survive beyond next episode, at the very least.
So, do you think that the baby is alive in 2021?
No, I don't think so.
Because I feel like they would have talked about it, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Or do you think the
I don't
baby
think so.
freezes to death like Jackie and then they have to eat
Ah,
the
don't
baby
say
after
that.
much protest?
Don't say that. You know how
Baby,
I feel
how
about
much
Jackie.
that baby is not filling up. And like a baby is how they're not eating that baby. They're not eating the baby. They're not eating. They're not eating the
You
baby. It's
don't know
not
if the
happening.
baby is a fat baby. You can't tell.
How fast
So
can a baby be straight out the womb?
Let me tell you, have you ever starved before? They are hungry, they will eat anything.
okay, so are we agreed on one child, not twins?
And
Oh, yeah, not
maybe
true.
when they're killing the baby, the coach will now be upset that they're killing the baby. So they'll now kill the coach and now add him to the baby meat.
Oh my gosh,
Okay,
guys,
Then
I read
they'll
something
be
really
full.
interesting on the internet about what's happening to the coach. Do you guys want to know?
sure,
Yes.
go ahead.
Okay, so catatonia. You know how he's going into like this vision state, but he's kind of like just being a bit, what's
Uh-huh.
the word? Pausing, but not pausing, like he's just being himself. They said that his mental frame was putting him in catatonia. So after some time, he just won't be relating to the real world at all. And he'll just stay in his mind and in his happy memories with his boyfriend. And then they'll probably kill him because he'll be essentially like comatose.
I
They won't
also
kill.
I
I
feel
don't
think
think
like
it's
they'll
like
kill him. I think he'll die. I don't think they'll kill him.
mm,
But
no, but I do see him just like not being responsive again, and then thinking
yeah,
that he's
yeah.
dead because he's just like
maybe
too.
he'll only be talking to Harvey and Harvey will be caring for him.
No, man, he needs to die. I'm
But
so sorry. They need to
I
put
feel
him
like
into
this
the
is also a
surgery.
lesson to people. Eat the food your boyfriend and your lover gives you. Eat it. Because
Take
you
the
don't know what will
risk.
happen next.
Move
Take
in.
Um,
the
but
chow the
Move in.
food, man. Chow the food.
Move
speaking of the
Don't be
in.
coach,
fronting.
speaking of the
You don't
coach, we
know
were
what
all
will happen
wrong.
next.
We said he would be dead by episode 5. So
Really?
I guess we
Oh.
give him Survivor of the Year because he's
Yeah.
managed.
Crystal took his place.
I feel like
That
he
means
hasn't
I just
eaten
feel like
criticism.
going forward. It's not every mess up we mess up. You have to announce to the whole podcast. Should be people forgot. I do not have to say that we said that.
We have to
Now
be.
when we predict, I beg. Now when we
We have to
predict
be a
this,
podcast
is it
of
not?
accountability. We have to be a podcast of accountability. They can't just be like, "Oh, these guys just no." We have to hold our head up. It maybe comes out next week now, and they eat it next week. I have to be like, "Yeah, I fucked up. Me culpa. I was wrong. This niggas are wild. They eating babies straight out the womb."
Get out the womb. Shit.
um,
Lord of the Flies, baby.
Okay, I
Baby
don't know.
eater.
Any final
I
thoughts?
feel like it's also terrible that we're talking about this thing with much glee. Can this be a
I'm not.
disclaimer? This is just in the
My
context
colleagues.
of Yellow Jackets. There are no jokes here that we intend outside the show Yellow Jackets. These jokes
Outside
are
the
only
show, yellow
probable
jacket.
because of Yellow Jackets and the nature of the show and what's happened in the show. We do not condone baby eating, human being eating,
Okay,
coach eating,
okay,
adult eating,
okay.
teenage eating of anything that's not, animals.
I
Sheep,
don't think
deer,
you,
it's
lion,
you're
easy.
about to get some people. However, if you are a fan of this podcast and you've been listening and you do condone eating human beings, then please continue listening and forget everything that maybe just said. Because
Ah,
I am shameless enough that I want to keep all our listeners, cannibals or not. Um,
wow, Bankole.
Imagine the people that watch this show because they're so pro cannibalism that they watch it, like it's their like
yeah,
this is their
that's true
thing. Like
too.
they're so pro cannibalism they don't want to watch Yellow Jackets.
If I never
Um,
listen.
Yeah, that's insane.
okay, so I've gone into talking about cannibalism, so I think that's a good point to end this podcast. Um,
You didn't do the intro in the beginning where you say, "Oh, we're also reviewing this coming
yeah,
out there,
because I knew we had a
Mandalorian."
very
This,
long
this.
episode ahead of us, and I was trying to not
Oh,
go on
fair
for too
enough.
long. But maybe
It's
he's right.
actually
If you've listened this far, we are covering so many things. We're covering Succession. Mandalorian is finished now, so you can check that up on the feed. We're covering Ted Lasso. We're going to be covering Love and Death from this week. Yeah, so please check out everything. Debbie and Farida, thank you very much. Do you have any final thoughts before we leave?
Team Van and Taisa forever and
yeah. I was gonna say that.
ever.
I was gonna say that.
Okay, that's fine.
But
That's a good.
also Team Supernatural. Bankole, you didn't say who won.
No, you're
Farida
clearly
did not.
you're
Farida
not
did not
speaking.
defend.
Yeah, man.
So it wasn't,
It was
I
a,
didn't think I needed to
what's
say
that
anything.
thing? What's that thing in
Eh?
basketball? I'm gonna get that you're doing 5 for 5 do
Oh, you
maybe.
got Lord.
Nice
You
job.
got love. Love is not in
Nice
basketball. Love is zero now.
That's tennis.
job.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh. Bankole,
Don't
edit
worry.
it out. Edit it out.
I will,
No,
but
no,
it will be
no.
on the YouTube, so anyone that watches on
No,
YouTube will be
Bankole,
there.
no, Bankole, do you know what? Last time I told you to edit something out and it said you left it in with me
No,
saying edit it out.
I edited it out. What are you talking about?
No, it was in there.
What was
Every
it?
time I've told you to edit, I don't even remember, but I
No, I'm pretty
remember
sure I
hearing
edited it
it.
out. I'm pretty sure I edited it
I
out.
this fucking Bankole guy.
I'm pretty sure I
Not
edited
this
it out.
fucking
But anyway,
Bankole
it's
guy.
okay. You can leave it there. I don't have to know sports. He's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
paying me
yeah.
after all.
Who are you proving? You're not a pick me. Why are you proving yourself? Like, who are you trying to?
But love is shot zero in tennis shot, so I got half mark. Love
Yeah,
is zero. I just failed the sport, no?
you feel, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And maybe it was Farida that actually wanted to say tennis and not basketball. So
maybe. So you blame her.
No, I was talking
Apparently.
about how they say things like
Okay.
5 for 5 and like you've won 5 for 5 in like basketball.
Oh. Also,
Yeah.
now you're likening me to Lottie, who is also 5 for 5. Yeah.
Okay. Final predictions: boy, girl for the baby.
Mm,
Huh.
Non-binary man. That baby
How
is not.
about if it's
The way will come out,
Non-binary.
man. You may not
no?
even
How
see that
about
part.
if it's a
Do we what you're about to say? How about it's a what? Do we what are you about to say? Do we think about what you want to say before you say it?
It comes out with antlers. It's
Because
the
I'm
antler
because I'm
queen.
not cutting it out.
It's the antler queen, the baby.
eh?
The baby is the
The way I'm not
antler
cutting it
queen.
out.
It just come out
So
No,
with
whatever you want to
no.
say, think about it.
Wait.
Baby, forget about it. Don't just leave it. Just leave it.
No, please, I want to say it.
Fight your instinct.
Hey, what if the baby is intersex?
Oh, I knew it. I knew you were looking for
No,
the
no,
right word
no.
all this
I
time
want to
because I
say
knew what you
that.
wanted to say.
What if the baby is intersex?
Oh, I told you, don't just let it go. I knew where your head, so just let it go.
It was worth
But
Don't
it.
what
say the word. Don't say the word that's in your head. No, I think the
No, I
baby.
did say the one that's in my head. The
Yeah,
one that was
yeah,
in my
yeah.
head was the other one.
Yeah,
And I was
please
trying to look for the
let's
biological term.
Farida is so precious that she doesn't know what you're talking about, which shows you like how stable she is as an individual. She doesn't know what Farida. I don't know what we'll say when we end this podcast.
Okay.
No, I think the baby is definitely a boy. I don't think Lottie is going to be wrong on this prediction. I think it's definitely a boy.
Intersex is basically someone who has
I know it was
characteristics of both
intersex.
sexes.
No, she knows what that
Fine.
means.
Oh, so
She
why does she
doesn't
know
know. She doesn't know what word you were going to say, But we'll
Oh,
tell
the
her
other
after.
Maybe.
one.
I'm not
Okay,
sure.
we'll tell
Um,
after when
I'm
Bankole stops
shy.
recording.
uh, we can't.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube. You're watching on YouTube. This was obviously a long episode, but this was a long episode of Yellow Jackets. A lot of things happened. But yeah, join us next week when, or rather, sorry, join us in 2 weeks when we're back talking about Yellow Jackets with the one and only Oscar winner, Daniel Kaluuya. Bye, guys.
Inshallah.
Bye, guys. See you in 2 weeks.
Goodbye.
Okay.